Today we are going to learn on how to draw isometric circles, and isometric figures are simply figures that are inclined at an angle of 30 to 30 degrees. In my question, I have a figure being drawn and it's an outline of an isometric square. The question says that I copy the given view and draw an isometric circle in it. So we expect an isometric circle inside here. You can see the dimensions are 50-50, and we are also given the degrees that is of 30, and that tells us that this side as well is 30 degrees. Now, in general, this is a rhombus. We know a rhombus is an equal-sided figure inclined at 30 degrees. So we're going to redraw the figure like it is. So I've begun by drawing a line, and I'll be using my protractor. Remember, it was 30 degrees. So from a point, so you can have a look that this is 10, 20, 30. So my point 30 degrees is here, and on this side, this is my point. Remember, 30 degrees. So you can use your rulers drawing those lines, but they should meet at a point. So make them as faint as possible. Faint as possible. These are construction lines from my point 30 that we measured using our protractor. So those are lines inclined at 30. So the angle here is 30 degrees, same to this other side. Now we had the measurement of 50. So you can simply pick another ruler and measure 50. So surprisingly, mine is already in 50. And on this other side, you're also measuring 50. I hope we are doing this all together. So my point 50 is slightly up from my point that I measured initially. Now we're going to at least put lines here to guide us. You can put another baseline before we construct an incline of 30. So if you are using your T-square correctly, you'll have a small straight line here, and same on this other side. Remember, they are very faint, very faint. Bring in your protractor, let it lie at the base as that. And the angle we need is 30 degrees, remember. So we're now measuring our 30 from this side. 30 degrees from this side. So I've placed a dot. Do the same on this other side. Use your protractor. You're measuring. We need an angle of 30. Let's proceed now and join these lines. Remember, we had placed dots at our 30 degrees. Proceed and draw that. They'll meet somewhere. Remember, they are very faint. Very faint. Do the same on this other side. Same this other side. So that simply gives us our rhombus. Now, let's at least name it for easier purposes of my explanations. I'm putting it A, B, point C, and D. So you can name your diagram, it's for practice. So A, B, C, and D. Remember, the lengths are equal. Now, in general way of drawing an isometric, the first procedure is at least join the longest diagonal. So in my diagram, length of D to B would give me the longest diagonal. So let's please proceed and draw the longest diagonal. So draw a line joining point D to point B. So draw that line, point B to point D. I've already drawn mine, and you can observe that even in my video. Let's now identify the midpoint of C and B. In drawing, you simply call it bisection. So bisect the length of side C and B, and do the same in D and A. Remember, our length was 50, so that tells us that we simply get the division. So 0.25 of each. 0.25 of So this is my 2.5 point. In my case, the same on side DA, 0.2, 0.5. So you can place a dot to guide you. Place a dot and let's call this x1 and x2, the midpoints of the two x1 and x2. Now proceed and please join point C to x1. Remember, x1 is the midpoint of length D and A. So join C to x1. C to x1. Kind reminder, we are doing an isometric circle. We've joined point C to x1. Let's now go on and join point A to x2. Remember, what we're doing is simply to help us get the centers of the circle. So take your ruler and join point A to x2. A to x2. Very good. So that is my diagram. Now, the points where they intermitted, or rather they met, that is between D and B. The point where the two lines met simply gives us the centers where we're going to place our pair of compass. So make it ready. Pick your pair of. Now place your compass this center. Let me name the centers. Let's name this as O1 for purpose of illustration, and this as O2. So place one leg of your compass at center O1, just the same I've done in mine. Extend it to point x1. Point x1, remember our x1 was the place where the midpoint of AD. So we're going to draw that circle to touch line DC. So I hope you are there. This length, proceed and draw that circle to touch line C. Do the same on the other side. Place your pair of compass at center O2 and extend it to point x2, and please look at it carefully, then begin to draw that circle to touch line AB. So we already have two sides of our circle. Remember, for the x1 to touch CD, we placed our compass at O1 as the center. We did the same in O2, and I hope you're really having the same diagram. Now let's proceed and draw the entire, that is, place now your pair of compass at point C. At point C. So take your pair of compass, place it at point C, extend it to x1. Look at that length, point C to x1. And now we're going to draw that side to touch the remaining part down. So C to x1. I'm drawing mine just like that. So we already have that portion of an arc. We want to make it complete. Now what we did in C, we are going to do the same from point A. So you pick your pair of compass, place it at point A. Pair of compass, place it at point A and open it to x2. Point A to x2. The interesting part is that they should at least be equal with what you are drawing initially. So point A to x2, you can have a look at that dimension, then begin to draw. Now mine will appear perfect. So this you can see. So we have already constructed our isometric circle. That's the procedure. It's very simple and you can do more practice on it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing. Keep on supporting this channel, and we really appreciate